Angel, the survey found that an organization's culture, rather than formal diversity measures, seems to have more impact on the number of senior females in the organization. From your perspective, how important is it for companies to adopt formal measures to drive diversity in the organization?
I believe that a company needs to adopt a well-communicated strategy to drive diversity, and not necessarily a policy or metrics per se. A good strategy is key to building competitive advantages and achieving positive results. Sometimes quantitative metrics do help to translate strategy into action. For example, when I realized that over 80% of our newly recruited graduate analysts came from the business faculty, I set a target for the campus recruitment team to introduce more diversity into our graduate intake. The team started to then relook into the recruitment process and the interview methodology to eliminate possible unconscious bias towards business graduates. As a result of that, we managed to double the percentage of non-business graduates from 20% to 40% last year. So companies should ensure that diversity is embedded throughout the hiring process and people are hired and advanced on their merits. The principle also applies to internal job posting for us as well.
Do you have any advice on how an organization can drive a culture that enables inclusion and empowerment for all employees?
I think when a strategy turns into action and becomes the working principles, a culture is formed. Last year, Citigroup rolled out a new training globally on unconscious bias to raise employee awareness on this very issue. A clear tone was set at the top to reinforce the importance of recognizing and eliminating these biases as part of the overall business strategy. This was followed by actionable next steps that we took, for example, by disclosing and committing to address the gender pay gap. When people in the organization can see that we are walking the talk, a culture is formed.
How should companies increase the level of engagement among staff to embrace diversity?
We talk a lot about diversity strategy. I don't think there is any lack of support and endorsement from the top. Our global mobility program has allowed us to create a certain level of diversity in many places. But there is another important element to the implementation of the diversity strategy. It is the different staff-led networks that we have, such as Citi Women's Network or Citi Pride Network, which are open to all employees who share the same passion for a more inclusive workplace.
Thank you, Angel, for sharing your time today and for sharing your insights on how Citi is managing its D&I program.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.